Well, hi everyone. I'm John Redland, and this is my review of NWA Powerrr episode 18. I enjoyed some of the episode. I enjoyed some of the storyline elements that they've been planting, especially building towards Crockett Cup with Skrull and all this. Some of the stuff they're doing with the women's division, and a few other things. But some of this show felt directionless to me. It felt aimless, even though I understood what they were trying to do with some of the stories. Something just wasn't quite clicking with me. Of all the episodes that weren't, recap heavy editions, this was one of the weaker ones. And that's not to say the talents didn't give a solid effort. That's not it. Just something about this episode didn't fully draw me in. I'm going to get into why here in a little bit. We have Sean Mooney talking about the Skrull Aldous situation at ROH's Free Enterprises show. And it's a bit of a tease, see what's going to be happening later. What will Skrull's counteroffer be to Nick Aldis? And then we get Eli Drake on commentary while James Storm is behind him drinking beer. And we get the bouncers from ROH with Eddie Kingston at ringside versus the Dawsons with Pope D'Angelo Dinero at ringside. I wasn't feeling this match. I don't really care for the bouncers. I don't really think they can move well for big guys, but I just don't really care. I don't really care about them, so I wasn't really feeling this. The Dawsons are not bad. They're two big raw bone fucks, and I get what they're doing with Eddie and Pope. You build to that match eventually to happen. I get that. But I just wasn't feeling this. It was just four big guys smashing into each other, and eventually we get a superplex off the second rope, and we get a splash, and bouncers win. Okay, cool. All right, let's not revisit that. I didn't really care for this. And then everybody's celebrating. The faces are celebrating by drinking beer out of the Crockett Cup. Hooray! Hooray for alcoholism. Whatever. It was everybody just having fun. And then we get Nick Aldis piece for ROH. He wants an answer from Marty. He wants an answer now. He wants an answer. He's like, this NWA title and all this and all the perks that come with it. It's $500,000 in the company's pocket. So what's it worth to you, Marty? And there we go. And then we get a little bit. You kind of get where they're going with this tease. We get Joe Galli interviewing Camille and Latimer. Well, mainly Tom Latimer, and about facing Tim Storm. I don't know why Latimer's hair was so goddamn wet. That was never answered. Why is a wrestler's hair always so goddamn wet when they come to the ring? It makes no sense. Also, he sounded a little bit off. I don't know what exactly was going on with him. And then Camille teases slapping Joe Galli. And I like Joe Galli, don't get me wrong. I like him, but that was kind of a funny moment. And she probably could have leveled him and half the people in the studio easily because she's a pretty damn tough person. I mean, she's really fucking tough. And really statuesque and everything, and throws a hell of a tackle. So, we get Tim Storm versus Thomas Latimer with Camille at ringside. And this wasn't bad. It was a big power battle. Tim trying to toss around Latimer. Latimer eventually chopped him in the throat, focused on the knee a bit. So he's trying to break down the veteran. And not that Latimer is any slouch, but Tim Storm's obviously had more years in wrestling. And there was a ring post spot, a spot where actually Tim hit the turnbuckle with his shoulder. Oh no. Impact DDT. And Latimer gets a victory. Which was the right call. Now, I like Tim Storm. And eventually he's going to get built back up. And he's going to get a singles title run. TV title. National championship. Whatever. He's going to get some kind of championship run. But Latimer winning here. Building up Strictly Business. Was the right call. And then we had the Mama Storm impersonator guy from before. And Tim just walks off. He's eventually just going to level. He's just going to level that guy. I don't know who the hell that person is, but he's just going to level him at some point. I mean, I don't blame him for being upset. Then we get Trevor Murdoch winning a rematch with Aaron Stevens. And, he's like, well, if I would have just had a few more seconds, or, he was running away a whole lot. He ran away from Scott Steiner. He ran away from me. I've never seen somebody run so much in my life. And then the question mark comes out and does the Mongrovian national anthem. And then I think challenged Trevor Murdoch to a match. Some point. We then get Sean Mooney with a Powerrr update. He shows footage of Skrull's answer, the counter offer to Nick Aldis. Says if he loses, he will write him a check personally for $500,000. Skrull's got to win now because that would be something. I mean, Skrull got a hell of a deal from Ring of Honor, but boy, imagine if they actually went through with that. Boy, he'd have to write a huge check. Granted, Nick Aldis is worth it, and Skrull has a lot of money, but still. So anyway, we get this. We also then get, it was good stuff. It was a good tease and everything. And I hope that Ring of Honor, despite any issues they have in Sinclair not taking care of people medically, maybe can rectify that stuff, take care of their talents, and can build back up, because more companies have, existing means that the talents can go somewhere, they can apply their trade somewhere else, and they can, more companies means more health for the wrestling business. Anyway, we then get Sean Mooney talking about various shows that are coming up. Circle Squared, which I think is about giving up and coming talents a chance to shine. I think that's going to be in place of Power next week. I think that's what they said. But then you had talents talking about matches that were going to take place next week. So maybe it's going to be a combined episode. I'm not really sure. And then he talked about a face-to-face discussion show called Power Surge and the season finale Super Power, which is coming up soon at some point. So, okay, I mean, bit weird, but if that means they're going to, if that means they're going to layer these shows and, like, have a few episodes of Power and then Circle Square and that kind of stuff, and not have it be the same thing every week, hey, if they can get variety, cool. I just hope they don't get it to be a jumbled mess. But I'm excited for it, and I'm willing to give it a chance. And if it's Circle Squared in place of Power next week, I will watch it. I will watch it and give it a shot, and I'll have a review up on the channel like I have one for now. So we get Nikita Koloff talking about becoming a born-again Christian. He plugs his Koloff for Christ Ministries, which he's been that since like October 93, which is almost a year after suffering, I believe, a broken neck against Vader, or neck injury against Vader at Halloween Havoc 92. So anyway, okay, cool. You know what? And if it works for him, it works for him. I'm not religious, but if it works for him, it works for him. We get Matt Cross versus Ricky Starks. TV title match, 6:05 time limit. A lot slower than I expected, but it was some good stuff. I think maybe they were telling the story that they just forgot what the time limit was. Ricky Starks was trying to outlast Matt Cross, and Matt maybe didn't realize what the time limit was. I'm not exactly sure what they were telling here. This is where things fell apart a bit. I enjoyed what they were doing, but I almost felt like they could have done this non-title and done some kind of fluky finish, but it is what it is. They also implemented the Lucky 7 rule, where Ricky Starks has to successfully defend the title 7 times. Even a time limit draw counts as a successful defense. Easy for me to say. And it went a time limit draw here. Because Matt Cross almost had him beat. He had the cutter off the ropes and then was going to go for the, the shooting star press, but time ran out. So, time limit draw, they're both in the ring. Zicky Dice is cutting Ricky down, cuts Matt Cross down, says, well, that match was boring, this kind of stuff. It wasn't boring. Maybe not as fast-paced as people expected, but he says, the difference between Zicky and Ricky is Zicky Dice always finishes. What you do is your own business in your personal time. So we then get Marty Bell talking about Allison Kay and Melina, and cutting down the interviewer. I forgot the guy's name. I apologize, but cutting him down. Don't you mention Melina's name? She's not brainwashing me. Allison Kay has one line that really stuck with me here. Melina is Jim Jones, and you are drinking the Kool-Aid. Ouch. That was good shit. That was good shit. I need to make up some time here, so guess what, folks? I'm going to make a couple of these matches pretty goddamn quick, because they're the last two matches. It's Melina versus Tasha Steelz, and look, people say Melina still got it. I mean, I don't know what they're seeing. Look, I'm not saying Melina's bad. I'm not saying she's horrible, but she's not that good anymore, and this was kind of evident of that. This just showed that she really didn't have. I don't know what the gear was either, but it is what it is. The gear is inconsequential. She just wasn't really all that good. She had a couple decent moves, but Tasha Steelz clearly showing some fire here, getting a few shots in. Melina did hit the leg drop DDT and got the victory. Not a very good match, though Tasha had some fire. And then Melina, I am the living legend. No, you're not. And then challenges Thunder Rosa for the championship next week, which confused me because I thought it was going to be Circle Squared in place. Unless we're getting pieces of Circle Squared and then a couple matches from NWA Powerrr there. But hey, Thunder Rosa, please don't have Melina beat Thunder Rosa. For the love of fucking God, don't you dare. Because we need the women's championship on somebody good. And I'm sorry, Melina having that after Allison Kay had it for so long and Thunder Rosa having it, beating her in an incredible match and a great rematch last week. We don't need to have the championship change hands so soon. I've not read the spoilers, so please, if you have, do not tweet them or do not post them in the comments. And then we get Saw Renal and Mae Valentine in the crowd. We get Rock and Roll Express versus Nick Aldis from Royce Isaacs. Not bad. It was decent for what it was. There was some nice ankle focus on Royce Isaacs. Eventually, the heels took over. They were beating up Ricky. We get the Ricky to Robert, and then Robert ends up getting pinned by Royce Isaacs with the feet on the ropes after, big old schmoz and everything. And then we have an Aldous Skrull video package to close, and it's the location, date, and time will be revealed for the Crockett Cup next week. So cool. Again, there were things about this episode I liked. There were things that I didn't necessarily like, and also I'm a little confused by what we're going to see next week. But it is what it is. C plus, not a bad episode, just not as great as they have been. But anyway, agree, disagree with what I said. Like, share, subscribe, Twitter handle in the description. I'm John Ritlin. I'll see you soon.